What is going on, everybody? It is episode 175 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett. I'm here with my co-host. Would you introduce yourself, please?
Hi, Crisis Actors. It's Mary on another chaotic day here in the studio.
I would love to know if they can hear the
the gentle
sound.
whirring. It's like a calming ASMR white noise video in the background.
It may be calming for them, but it signals chaos for us. We're having air conditioning issues up here in the studio. And 10 minutes before the episode, 12 minutes before the episode started, I had to go and grab the alternative air, like the extra air conditioner out of the IRL studio, lug it upstairs, and try and get away to get some air into the studio. So if the stream gets cut off because our computer explodes from the heat, I do apologize. That is why. And to join us on this ridiculous day, as everything gets figured out at the last minute, would you introduce yourself, sir?
In times of ridiculousness, we must have someone to hold us down. And here am I, Dane Font, marketing man extraordinaire, the patron saint of White Boy Summer, and recently voted #1 sexiest marketing man by Fake Publication Weekly.
I mean, what do you think heated up this studio?
Tis me.
It was Dane in the button-up that did it. Yes.
Button-Up's getting a lot of compliments today.
You gotta button up that one. You're
I,
heating
though?
up the studio too much. It's intense.
She's stuttering. She can't even finish a sentence.
The chest
I can't
hair
handle
is
it.
doing it to us.
I can't handle it.
I see.
The AC's broken.
So, to be honest, we've got a bunch of stuff to talk about, but the air conditioning had me a little bit distracted at first. We're going to talk about the ridiculous fallout of Batgirl further, so much so that it's like the leading topic 2 days in a row, which is, usually I try to alternate every other. I don't want it to be the first topic 2 days in a row, but it is. It was the #1 story today. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about hate raids in video games and the resources the video game industry. Mary
we love feminist frequency here, don't we, folks?
I love Anita Sarkeesian.
We stand Anita Sarkeesian, queen.
We should get Anita Sarkeesian shirts to wear. That would be cool. We're going to do that. We're going to talk about this absolutely preposterous article about the fallout of an incident in the Station 19 writer's room. If you don't know what Station 19 is, don't worry, you're not 75 years old. That would probably be why. But we're going to talk about it. It is very interesting. And after that, we've got Podluck. We've got a bunch of other stuff. But we've also got Chet news. Do you know why? Do you guys know why?
Why?
Because it's another day in God's land.
Because today is Chet's birthday.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
This is a very special day.
It is Chet's birthday. So before we get started, I think we should just get right into the Chet of it all first.
Let's go.
Absolutely.
So we're gonna look at first what he says.
By the way, perfect form.
Yes. Today is my birthday. Then we go to the next one. This is how I'm celebrating. Well, of course. How else would he celebrate?
With like a million burpees.
That's what you do. By winning.
Wow.
What else?
August 4th. Today's my birthday. Or as I like to call it, another day I won't fucking miss. Another day I'm gonna show up, cause I'm all in.
Face.
Another day that by doing the work, I can stand alone. You ready?
I'm ready, Chet. I'm ready.
Dude.
I'm ready today.
I'm ready.
Are you ready?
I'm so ready.
So
and I'm
ready.
going to send him a birthday message later.
Whoa.
That is what he wants. That is what
Mary
he
and
wants.
Bread? Is this a thing?
It's
wait, Mary and Chet.
Mary and Chet.
Oh, I just ratted everyone out.
Chet.
Now everyone knows.
Brett Hanks. That would be my.
Chet Dasovic.
Oh my God! No.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how I feel about that one.
So many rumors.
So guys, wish Chet a happy birthday for giving us all the inspiration in the world. I don't think I would have been able to lug that air conditioner up the stairs, get it in the window, and get the show started if I wasn't thinking about how I was all in
And how you're winning.
How we're gonna.
You're not going to miss it.
Winning sounds like he's taking it from Charlie Sheen, but Charlie Sheen's got his own problems going on with his kids right now. So now that we have had Chet's, thank you. Now that we have had Chet's affirmations, the Chetformations, we will get right into Batgirl Fallout. Are we ready, Mary?
Oh, we're ready.
Are we ready, Dane?
So ready.
So ready. All right, so basically the idea here is they humiliated, and I really do believe that it is true that they humiliated the cast of Batgirl. They did not tell them before they made the announcement that they were canceling this movie.
Is this intentional? An intentional way to slight them? That's
How
what
so?
I want.
I don't think so.
Because there's no reason that they couldn't have given them a heads up. They had to find out by looking at the news cycle hours after the rest of the world found out.
I don't believe that's true.
That's what they're saying.
They were saying that Mike DeLuca, one of the guys who were in
They
charge
called
over
him
there,
a scared little bunny who's afraid of conflict.
conflict
So
averse.
much so that he can't tell this cast and crew that he scrapped their project.
That seems ridiculous to me. Like, you don't get to
Or
that
get
level
someone
of-
else to do it.
Yeah.
I don't know why he would be personally in charge of it.
I just want to say, like, you guys know, like, all the absolutely disastrous horseshit movies that have come out in the last decade. And this one was apparently so bad that not even woke Hollywood could take it.
I don't know if I buy
They're
that.
insisting that it's not about the quality of it, but the inside sources,
One of
the
them-
anonymous sources say
30%
undeniable.
said 30%. Like, they said they were getting ratings of 30, and it says ... out of 100.
Yeah.
So, 30 out of 100, I feel like that's still, like, this wasn't going to the theaters. 30 out of 100, you just dump it onto the streaming service anyways, but they're worried about it damaging the brand and what those, having to then continue to use those characters down the line who have been put in this awful movie. I feel bad for Brendan Fraser, who looks absolutely freaking awesome as Firefly, as Garfield Lenz in this, and Michael Keaton's stunt double, because I saw none of Michael Keaton. I saw just Michael Keaton's jacked stunt double in the cool Batman '89 suit.
In this New York Post article, the anonymous source said, of course, if it were good, they'd release it.
Yeah.
They think Batgirl is a super important character and they can't stick her in a huge dog. Does that mean they can't first introduce this character as a side, like supporting character in a larger theatrical release? They would rather use this HBO Max release
To announce the character. Yeah, it feels to me like you'd be just as fine, letting her
Yeah.
appear in another project. I mean, they did Sasha Calle as Supergirl? Yeah, Supergirl. That's coming out still, and she's going to be in the Flash movie, I believe.
Well, now people think that Supergirl is going to be on the chopping block as well.
And also, they're talking about Blue Beetle. Blue Beetle may also get the axe as well. So I don't think Blue Beetle will. Blue Beetle is
Thank you.
a lot of people were calling this woke. I hate that term because of the ginger side that is the disruption. Getting rid of red-haired Barbara Gordon
Yeah.
and replacing it with a Latino woman. But the Blue Beetle character's already Latino, so it doesn't really matter. That's not woke. That's following comic book accuracy.
I thought it was hilarious that people were complaining about this movie getting shelved on the basis that Leslie Grace is Latina alone. Like, that's it.
That's what they were saying. Yeah, they basically like, you can't shelve it. It's a win for diversity. I said, but they don't care. The number one reason, according to what I read, was tax credits. Basically, like it's an accounting write-off that they can have because of the merger of the company, but they only have it available to them till the middle of this month because they just did their quarterly earnings report, so they had to get it on the books as quickly as possible. Which proves that in the end, what really matters is what we've always said. Or I'm sorry, what I always say: money.
Well,
it's what money is.
Yeah,
what always
I think it's especially a vindication for people like us that Joker 2 just got its release date announced right after this, or was it right before?
Just right
by
in the
Warner,
same time period.
Warner Brothers, and it just shows like the straight white male characters are making the money.
And one thing that came, I was actually going to save it for tomorrow, but since you brought it up, they had Lady Gaga make her official announcement of being part of that movie today as well. So they're just getting the bad press off there and make the big announcements, because people are in a lot of ways very short-sighted. They're like, ooh, shiny object over there. Look at that. We'll go talk about that.
I mean, I can't imagine there was a huge audience anticipation for Batgirl, though. It's a big character, but it wasn't supposed to be a big release, and they didn't cover it at Comic-Con.
When Barbara if they would make an Oracle movie of just the Barbara Gordon character from a different time, or if this movie was more tied into the other movies, then that might make more sense for it to be a bigger project. But the original timeline is such a freaking mess anyways, it doesn't matter. Like, they should just scrap and start again.
Well, are they going to scrap it on absolutely everything? Like, it's going to get no release?
Nothing.
No release.
Not even on digital?
No, this was never going to be
It
a
was
theater
always
release.
going to be
Thank you.
HBO Max only.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
And
never
they were like,
going to-
nope, not even that.
Okay, so how about another Dane prediction?
Okay.
Have you guys ever heard about the movie called The Room?
The
Yeah.
one with Brie Larson.
No.
The one with Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that movie was so bad that it became like a culture, like pop
So
culture
bad
classic.
it's good.
There's too much money dumped into this to be so bad it's good.
So it's entirely possible that this is a marketing scheme to be like, if you really want to see the movie that's so bad that it had to be taken down from everything, and then they have like a digital release.
They should just do really bad ADR through the whole movie.
Yep.
And
Because
then
I'd want to
release it.
watch it at that point, right?
Well, I mean, they did the same thing. I mean, the Snyder cut. They for 2 or 5 years they promoted trying to get the Zack Snyder version of that movie to come out, and they did. So there's a precedent set there. But I think that it's more likely that this has to do with the politics of Warner of Discovery buying Warner Brothers, and now David Zaslav is taking over and chopping the projects that he doesn't have any faith in.
Do
and if
you
he
think
can
that
get
David Zaslav watched Batgirl?
I think he probably saw a cut of it. Yeah.
And he was like losing all faith in it. after
I think that he looked at the studio strategy. I think if I was
I
to
don't
give
think
him,
it can entirely be divorced from the quality of the movie. If he liked it,
yeah,
it would be out.
okay.
Undeniable.
And if he had a plan going in, maybe that's true. But like the way I mentioned yesterday, I said I think that Marvel is watering everything down with 9 different streaming series and the movies. Maybe DC would be better off focusing on just studio releases with main characters and let the other characters fit in where they may. I don't
know.
need like. Also, it was a movie, not a show.
Listen, my thing is that there's so many versions of this particular cinematic universe already, and a lot of them are like super high quality. Like, not all of them are Ben Affleck Batman. Like, a lot of them are really, really good. I gotta do it. It's not a Pop Culture Crisis episode if we don't do it. So, if it's like a really particularly atrocious entry, like, it really could do some damage to the brand. And honestly,
They've done enough damage to themselves that DC has already done. As a DC fan, there is no concrete timeline. They're switching out Batman every 3 weeks for Michael Keaton, or then it's Ben Affleck, and then it's this and it's that. There's barely continuity to any. Okay, put it this way: I can barely follow it, and I love following this stuff. Normies have no clue what's going on.
But they don't want to have a clue what's going on. They don't really care.
Yeah. Also, this happened while the directors were at a wedding.
Yes, it was.
That was
It was one of
very-
the directors' weddings. I think.
I don't remember.
It wasn't
I
Fala.
thought they were at another person's wedding. I didn't realize that they were at one of
It was
theirs.
at one of the directors'
that's
weddings.
so sad.
And they
Like,
thought that after the wedding,
yeah.
which the one director had invited the other two, that after that they were going to continue working on it.
They did the
and it's
same-
just like, great.
They did the same. WWE did the same thing to CM Punk on his wedding day. They FedEx. They
No
it
way.
feels
Yeah.
intentional.
Yeah.
It feels like an intentional backstab.
David Zaslav just really hates this movie. Like, he has like a vendetta.
Or he just doesn't care about social
He doesn't.
mores
He-
at all.
He doesn't.
Like,
I just can't imagine dumping all that money for literally nothing.
90. Okay, so say we guessed high end $90 million, right? Then you have 1.5 times that to budget. So that makes it about $145 to $150 million budget movie once it's done with marketing. You dump it onto HBO Max where it does not increase. And nobody that isn't the people that know Batgirl are already signed up for HBO Max, is what I'm saying, right? Like, Batgirl is fairly iconic, but she's not bringing normies in. She's going to bring in people that already love DC projects to begin with, and those people, if they love that DC projects to begin with, already have HBO Max. They're not signing up for it for this movie. So 100.
yeah, I didn't understand the emphasis on getting subscriptions over just straight profits that you would get from a theatrical release. That feels like a very COVID era
Yeah.
set of values.
And they keep talking about how Netflix's stock is now going back up since they announced their loss, right? So is the idea here that they just don't have a way of recouping the money on this because with no theater release, and nobody's going to sign up for HBO Max. Though HBO Max has had slower growth than the other streaming services, it is still growing fairly steadily comparatively to the other ones. It just didn't have that out-of-the-box major bump right off the bat. But I thought, if I'm being fair to them, adding it to the to their calendar over there doesn't seem like a bad idea to keep people subscribed to the service.
It was never gonna make up the money. Like, we knew that with that budget, it was never gonna make up the money. But like at this point, you gotta like minimize like the bleeding, is what I'm thinking.
Well,
so that's why I'm like,
they
like,
say it's because of this tax credit that they get from just taking it as a full loss.
Yeah, they write it off basically, and they have their quarterly earnings call today. And I also saw rumors that they may cut the comics division entirely.
What?
Like rumors. That was something that I saw in a video earlier. I mean, the funny thing is like the comic book writers have carved out this great niche for themselves where it costs so little to do the comics division that they're literally just like nobody. Like, I feel like if you were looking at a picture of like Warner Brothers headquarters, and if everybody worked in the same building, they're in the basement, and everyone just forgot they're down there, and they just get paid, and it's such a rounding error to the size of the company. Mm-hmm. that there's nobody knows what's going on down there, because it doesn't actually cost that much to make the comics anymore because they pay them such crap rates.
Yeah, but that's also their own fault.
Yes,
they take the crap pay.
The stunt double, I feel bad. Some of these set photos, the pictures.
Why do you feel bad?
Well, the stunt double.
I mean, obviously the stunt double does not look even close to Leslie Grace.
But the stuff of Firefly looks cool. Like the stuff of him on top of the fire truck in the building here. The picture that I used as that I'm going to be using as the set for tomorrow, like him in his full costume, looks really, really cool. And I wanted to see Brendan Fraser play a bad guy.
Dude, what I would have given to be in that test audience.
30 out of 100. But I just don't buy that they can't.
They say, oh, it's because the visual effects aren't completed yet, so it's not close enough to the final product for the test screenings to be reflective of what it's going to be after the release, which is BS.
And also,
my guess is like literally the plot is like, take a Batwoman punch, yeah, like it's just like so like over the top.
Do you think it's going to be wokeness?
Obviously.
I don't.
Okay, so you would love to see it because you're a glutton for woke punishment.
No, I just want to see like what is the movie that's literally so bad that these people that have been like serving us shit on a platter for like years now, like they can't just show us.
Also, they like.
So yeah, I'm going for punishment.
I mean, if it's woke
Confirmed.
stuff that you're worried about, then I would say like not worth watching it if you could. But if it's a so bad it's good movie, then that is kind of a shame.
To this, it's like, does this make Christopher Nolan stopped working with Warner Brothers because of their push to release everything on streaming in 2021. He disagreed with with the idea. He thinks that movies should be released in the theaters, so they lose him.
They think that they should have waited with all of their production,
like Top Gun did.
Yeah.
Okay, so they lose him for that reason. Actors are now going to be weary of working with them because they don't know if their projects are going to be pulled in the middle of it. Directors aren't going to know if their projects are going to be pulled in the middle of it. Granted, we're in the middle of like a changeover from Warner Brothers to Warner Brothers Discovery. So this is it's not like this is normal circumstances, right? This is different. I see this being a problem for them long term, but I kind of love it. I kind of love that David Zaslav doesn't care. I kind of love that he's just like, nope.
They've been, I think, needing an executive that doesn't care whether people like him.
Yeah, they absolutely need that. And they talk about how that was Jason Kilar's strategy was they wanted to push everyone to Warner Brothers, to HBO Max, but clearly Zaslav sees the prestige of theaters as the way to market your project.
And not just the prestige, but the actual
revenue.
Potential for profits is higher. And when you take it from the theaters into a streaming platform afterwards, then there's more familiarity and more likelihood that people are going to stream it.
There's also there's something to be said, like if this was released in a theater, like the star of the movie and the directors, if they have enough bargaining power, lose out on residuals and percentage of profit, right? If the movie makes enough money, they can get money on the back end of that project. With streaming, they're not going to get any of that. So at the very least, they likely got their payday. They're not walking out of this without their money.
I feel like it almost would have been worse if they were told from the beginning that it would be a theatrical release and they changed their minds about that and had it streaming instead.
So I showed these photos. I do think that the photos are very cool. I also want to talk about the story that you found of the...
Yeah, it made me
laugh.
laugh.
Do you want to talk about that one? That one's
sure.
great.
So they filmed this entirely in Glasgow. Is that how you say it?
I think Glasgow.
They had to shut down streets, and businesses were not allowed to operate during certain periods of, I think, like December to March.
For a very small fee. They weren't paid very much for this.
Yeah, and the city council didn't really take accountability for like standing up for the businesses. They're like, "Oh, it's between the production company and the businesses," but they got like €1,000 per month, which is €30 a day.
Did you see have you seen the meme of the guy at the basketball game with his hands on his hips like this, with the flannel?
Wait,
and the
No.
It's like a picture. It's a guy at a basketball game. He's got his hands on his hips like this, and he's got a vest on. It's just they always say like Ron Paul anytime something happens, and he's like this, but it's not Ron Paul. It's a meme of somebody else. That's what this guy looks like here. He just looks so. He just looks so.
He's
upset.
very dissatisfied.
Yes.
I know that's why they chose his picture to go first, because the rest of the business owners looked rather cheerful.
Yeah.
But they got like €30 a day to be basically shut down for like as much as a whole month.
Yeah.
And it's just funny that like all of this, pomp and circumstance was given to the film when it was just for nothing.
For nothing.
Now
No.
the business owners are kind of ticked that they had to shut down and.
Well, it's not like they were going to
Almost.
make any money off of
Like,
it coming
yeah.
out. Like, they're
Well,
just
I
like, now
know,
have
but
to
they're like,
watch the-
okay, now I don't even get to see my signage in a movie.
Well,
They
plus,
like there was one of these businesses that didn't have their signage covered up in the filming. I think it was like a brow waxing studio or something, and they were like all planning to go see the movie because the signage of their business was going to be in it, and they get
Okay.
free advertising.
I think it's well understood that people, more than anything, love seeing a train wreck, and it's getting so fans didn't like it. The actors got informed in the day of, so it's gonna get all their like negative press as well. Like I keep thinking that they're just building up the train wreck, so like we're all like, so you want to see how bad it is?
I don't
$5.99,
think that's
baby
what
boy.
this is. I don't think that's what this
You
is.
think they're actually going to release it?
Only history will tell.
It was far from completed, according to the directors.
Oh, really?
Still
Yeah.
needed effects to be done. Still in post production. Yeah, they weren't done.
So they're not going to continue paying anybody to finish.
Well, like when they released the Snyder Cut, that after people finally begged for enough, they gave him the money to finish making that movie.
I mean, no one's
But they're
gonna
not
beg for
gonna
this.
Nobody's
that
gonna
for
do
here.
that for this.
These are not Zack Snyder. This is not Ben Affleck. Sorry, Dane. Henry Cavill and the rest of the Justice League. This is not that.
I think if only to perturb the faction of their fan base that cared only about Leslie Grace's
Yeah.
racial markers.
They said that in
If
the,
only to bother them about the film getting scrapped, then it's worth it in my book.
They do talk about while Batgirl was supposed to be a win for representation. Like, what does that mean?
And also,
It
I
means
was
nothing.
I was poisoned against the film the second I saw her costume.
Yes, the costume is awful.
It was super cringe.
Granted, she's on a motorcycle for most of it, so I guess the motorcycle jacket makes perfect sense.
No,
Stop
but it
trying to
looks
make
cheap.
it realistic. Stop.
Nobody wants realistic. She should be in a bikini while on the motorcycle.
There we
I mean,
go.
maybe not a bikini, but something.
Yes. So the duo, I will give the duo the directors, they played it very professional in their like what they said in the outro. They were very cordial and like, look, we're sorry that this happened. That's a bummer. So it says the duo said that they're grateful for their time with DC Universe, praising their cast, especially the great Leslie Grace, who portrayed Batgirl with such passion, dedication, and humanity.
Apparently not.
I liked this. As directors, it's critical that our work be shown to audiences, and while the film was far from finished, we wish that fans all over the world would have had the opportunity to see and embrace the final film themselves. Maybe one day they will, inshallah.
Maybe Dane's right. Maybe Dane's right, and this ends up like being like
Dude,
a weird.
They're kind of hinting at the possibility.
They could be completely lying that, oh, we're not even done with production. Like, all this can be a lie.
Here, the Snyder Cut stuff worked because that fan base is ravenous. The people that care about this movie because of representation are not like that. They'll move on to the next and move on to the next.
They've
thing.
already forgotten.
They've already forgot. So let's do super chats.
Okay. Doctor said the cast already knew how bad it was when they were filming it. There's no way any self-respecting person would wear that outfit and say, yeah, this looks great. They knew, and it looks like a CW production. So true.
I will say this. Like, a lot of times, as bad as costumes may be, one thing that can really help is the lighting and set design. We obviously, in that first original picture, the set design is awful, but color grading and lighting go a long way in making something believable. Dimming dark tones, brightening the blues and the oranges, which is what they do in Hollywood. All the color palettes are freaking orange and blue now. It can go a long way to creating the atmosphere to make a costume less offensive. I don't know if it would have worked for this.
It does look very CW. It looks
does.
like Teen Wolf.
Hey, all of the costumes that Oliver Queen wore in Arrow were actually fairly good.
But like my understanding is like the reason why this costume is like so funky looking is because they purposely like made it baggy so it wasn't form fitting, thus
I don't know.
sexualized.
I didn't see any proof.
I'm pretty sure we read about
Even
that.
if that's the case,
Didn't we read about that on the show?
it was done subconsciously.
Yes, because they don't need no man.
They didn't comment on it. They just
Blah, blah.
it's like more so daring you to comment on it.
Blah blah blah
than
blah. Male
anything.
gaze. Blah 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 blah.
Like if you have a problem with it, what's wrong with you perv?
because of the male gaze.
Caper2X said, "Welcome Dane, TFDF
What's up, yo?
summer." Wait, what's CH?
He's a chapter head or something.
Happy birthday, Chet.
Yes, happy birthday, Chet.
What does TFDF mean again?
I think it's the Puppy
something Dane
Foundation.
font.
Tanos?
Oh yeah, I don't know, dude. I'm just like leading so many organizations.
That was
at
2
this
days
point.
in a row. She asked that question yesterday, and we didn't know.
I knew at some point. Nathan Settlemeyer said Gina Carano found out Disney fired her on Twitter.
Yep, that was just as bad and
That's what they
stupid,
do.
and it's but that's like even worse. Like everyone knows that Kathleen Kennedy and the losers over at Lucasfilm are going to be sneaky and underhanded and lame. I would expect.
But in this situation, it's confusing because the public statement was, we hope to collaborate with them in the near future, but you pissed them all off.
Yeah,
So,
like-
no, you don't.
like, do they really want to come back and be like, that'd be really funny? Then they fire him again a second time.
They
for
would if the
another-
money's good. Like we all know these people.
Yep.
Yeah, and
IP
I
is
thought that
king.
that note about Denzel Washington getting a $35 million apology ticket
Yeah.
was funny.
Yummy.
Caper2X said, have you heard Power Girl will replace Supergirl?
I have not seen that. I will have to look into that.
What is that?
I will have to look into that.
Waffle Sensei said the answer to getting Chet on the show is simple. Dead serious, the patron saint of White Boy Summer needs to get swole through Chet's program, and after finishing the program, ask him to be on the show.
As a sign of gratitude for you getting me sober and jacked, you say, will you do this show as a thank you to you?
It may
You
be
say
the way.
thank you by letting him come on our show.
I mean, technically, we've already got Jamie in the program.
Yep.
And
Word?
soon Taylor is going to join the program because she wants to have a six-pack in 6 weeks.
I do believe she's got an advantage over Brian in that challenge there.
Nah,
How do you
man.
know?
Brian has discipline.
Yeah, but she's got like a 4-pack already. She's just trying to fix the bottom one.
Well, isn't the competition like who looks best at the end of it? So if he looks
But
like
But
it's
it's
just
harder for women to get a six-pack and keep it
I think it's just I didn't see anything in that bet about keeping it. Just who's the first person to
in
get
6
it.
weeks.
Yeah.
Within 6 weeks or
For-
by the deadline?
To the people who might not know what we're talking about, there's a bet currently going on at the castle between Taylor and Brian, and they are betting to see who can get to a six-pack of abs in the first. So what in
in
6
6
weeks?
weeks? Yeah.
So it's good to see. It'll
you
be
get
fun to
one
see.
ab per week.
Perfect.
Roland S. said, no notice of cancellation. A great day on set.
It kind of reminds me of like there have been times when baseball players have been traded mid-game. Like
What?
Oh yeah.
Mid-game?
Yep. I believe if somebody in the chat, I don't know if there's any baseball fans. I believe there's an incident where somebody got traded to the team they were playing.
No way.
Yeah, and had to like
What?
yeah. Yep.
That's crazy.
He like crossed the field.
I don't know if he was just had to go into the dugout. He wouldn't have been eligible to play that game for the other team.
Dude, that's
But
awesome.
Yeah. Yep.
Nathan Settlemeyer said, by Grabtar's hammer, what is savings?
What a savings! So I tried to look into. Look, I'm not a finance guy. I tried to look into like what they were talking about purchase accounting.
I don't
and-
think that the authors of the articles knew what they were talking
No.
about, so they just said it was a tax credit.
Yeah, so I tried to look into it. Look, I'm not shiesty enough to be a banker or or work on Wall Street. So I didn't really understand the
And they've got
financial
$3
aspect
billion in debt.
to cover.
Yeah.
Because of what they paid to
In
acquire.
what time frame?
I don't know.
I guess that's not going to be public information.
Yep.
Roland S. said, shelf a movie because you can? No. Calculate it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't buy that Zaslav is doing anything just for the hell of it. He seems like a very, very smart, very, very calculating dude. I don't believe it's what Dane's saying so that they can make money off it. I think he sees it as a losing opportunity. Look, if the guy is smart enough to axe CNN Plus, he's smart enough to axe Batwoman. Or Batgirl, I'm sorry. Now, it would be cool if they re-released CNN Plus and put Batgirl on CNN Plus.
That's
only.
what we were saying yesterday.
Yes.
You know me, Tinfoil Dane.
Tinfoil Dane.
Jonathan Harris said, imagine your movie sucks so bad that they'd rather keep a movie with Ezra Miller than allow yours to release. I would be mad if I were Leslie Grace in this situation. And it's embarrassing because she hyped it up on her social media, promoted it of her own accord, and...
I mean, I still think she only cares
oops.
about it because she's like, look at me, I'm representation in this movie, fantastic. But she at least was promoting the movie. Ezra's too busy creeping on children and leaving guns around to promote anything.
Committing copious amounts of crimes.
And she's and all she's doing is like being a good employee, doing her work. Like whether we can't speak on whether the movie was good or not. I'm not familiar with Leslie Grace's work otherwise, so I can't speak on her skills. But she's just doing her job, and she gets axed, and then Ezra Miller just gets to keep going. Doesn't seem very fair.
Dr. Oops, I already read that one. Hava Owens, thank you. 90 million down the drain. Woke, broke, joke.
Basically.
I don't know if it's woke, though.
It's
it's impossible to know.
It probably
It
is.
is.
But,
Look, it probably was, but I just...
You know it is. Like, the marketing play was like, it's Batgirl, but black.
You know how I said like it always feels like it's worse in TV shows than movies because movies don't have enough time to do it as heavily because they have to get through the story, so it tends to just like,
and they have more money to make.
Yes. So with TV shows, it seems like it's far more like they get through season 1, it's okay, it's serviceable. Season 2, like what should we do? Social issues. Like for this smaller budget, they could probably fit it in there and make it that way and make it woke. But
Yeah.
I can't speak to it because I don't know for sure.
Yeah, and I keep saying this thing that makes Dane bristle. I just don't think that in films, at least, maybe on TV, yes, but in
Way worse.
films right now, I don't think that wokeness is that prevalent.
Only in casting. Only in who they choose to
but
cast.
that's stuff that's hidden from view and
normal people don't.
intentionally. Yeah.
Dude, Top Gun is like the only movie I've seen that didn't have like woke stuff. The only
Father
movie.
Stu didn't have woke stuff.
Which one?
Father Stu. It's like
You didn't see that
It's a
one.
religious movie.
I
had to go to a religious movie produced by Mel Gibson to come up with a non-woke movie off the top of my head.
Well, okay. What else? Did Gray Man have...
No.
No, Gray
the
Man is
casting.
fine.
Yeah.
The casting. But other than that, it's fine.
I mean,
Jonathan Harris said, how does one join that abs challenge?
Dane?
just message Chet Hanks and be like, dude, change
Well,
my life.
The
Basically.
6-pack 6 weeks thing is exclusive because it can only go to one, the bragging rights can only go to one person.
And maybe we should have the winner on here.
They deserve it.
Like, we should have the winner on here as like a guest the day that they win and present them a trophy. That'd be kind of cool.
They're all mad at me. They're like, "Come on, Mary."
About what?
About the woke thing.
About movies?
You know it's gotta be woke, 100%.
The woke stuff I see is the stuff that everyone downplays, like in Lightyear when that same-sex kiss happened. I thought that was like a very intentional and contrived thing, but I don't know. Batgirl having a non-sexualized costume is more of a subconscious thing about our culture than anything else.
Well, we'll see what happens. It would be now I want to see it. Now, damn it, now I want to see it. That's too bad. All right, we're moving on. Dane, we're going to let you lead this one. We're going to talk about Games and Online Harassment Hotline adds resource to protect against hate raids. Would you tell everyone what a hate raid is?
Okay, guys. So there's a lot to this because I really didn't want to come unprepared for this segment. So there's a feature on Twitch that's called a raid. So basically what that is...
Used to be a good thing, right?
I mean,
was
It's
supposed
still
to be.
It's
supposed to be a
ambivalent.
good thing.
Yeah,
it's
it's
like a supportive thing from one streamer to another.
Okay.
typically, I mean, it is what it is. So it's like, let's say I'm streaming and I'm ending my stream.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
So the purpose of it is to your audience is like having a good time in the chat room, and then you host someone and you pass all your viewers down to them.
Yep.
Like, seems pretty nice,
Yeah.
right? However, apparently, like, since like 2021, there had become this phenomenon, which is like hate raids, where, by the way, it's typically bots, from what I've gathered, that join streams and post like lewd and racist stuff to like bother the streamer.
But the bots are hired or like made by
Literally bots, like made by a person. And from what I could tell from the research I made is that this came as a response to some features that Twitch was adding. So originally, some streamers were asking for like more like inclusive like stuff, and as a result, like Twitch added basically like a hashtag system where you could be like, oh, LGBTQ, like black, like yada yada, etc., etc. And it seems that as a result, some people were like, they will look up these hashtags and then raid these viewers and like start like hate posting like on their feeds. And so from what I've seen, they range to the point of like literally like somewhat adorable, to the point where like the streamer is like laughing, to the like absolute extreme where they're like hacking the person's Discord as they're streaming live. They're jumping into the voice channel. They're saying a bunch of slurs and like no words in order to get them banned from the stream, because like, as we know, these algorithms are imperfect.
Yeah, they don't know context.
the
Right.
voice to text bots read out any username.
Does everybody have at least that one friend who always uses voice to text and the text they send never makes sense?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I have at least 2 friends like that where I actually sometimes it'll make sense.
Sorry, I meant text to voice.
Yes. Sometimes I will read their texts, and when it makes sense, I double take. I'm like, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they choose, offensive usernames so that the bot will read it out loud.
Yeah.
But I thought that the game's hotline description of a raid was a lot better.
Let's read it. Why don't you read it?
Okay. Raids are a Twitch feature that forward a streamer's current viewers to another stream, usually as a sign of support. Hate raids happen when this feature is used to flood a channel with a large volume of abusive messages and harassment. Often this involves large numbers of bot accounts and most commonly targets black streamers, female streamers, queer streamers, and other marginalized streamers.
I see no links, hyperlinks, evidence of this as the fact. They just one of the things that I hate the most about stuff like this is they always make claims like that and state it as fact, and then never link to evidence that proves that.
Your chat gets spammed with slurs or doxed info. Your new follower and hosting alerts blow up with bot accounts using offensive usernames. Your text-to-speech donation or bits gets exploited to read more hate messages, and all the while, the hate raiders are recording you for your reaction.
So what I saw is that the bots are designed to do 2 things. Number one is to jump on one of the most popular streams of people that were under like the hashtag LGBTQ, hashtag black, hashtag whatever, right? So they jump on the hashtag, they follow the account, because a lot of chats are like follow mode only, where you can only chat after you follow.
We're follow mode only here.
Right.
You have to be I know like on IRL, like you have to be a subscriber for a certain amount of time.
So in Twitch, it's that way as well. And I think Twitch has like an additional feature where not only do you have to follow, you've had to follow for like 10 minutes to 30 minutes, if I'm not mistaken,
Yeah.
in order to chat. But I think I don't know if that's like the default settings on all of them. I think on some you just follow and you talk at the same time.
Ours here is like if you follow instantly, you're allowed to start
Right.
commenting.
And so
okay.
the bot goes via the hashtag, it follows a person, and then it like start posting the N-word, or like they start like having one of those pictures of members, and that and typically like the hate rates I've seen, it's typically have been like with female streamers,
Okay.
and a lot of them like jump on because like I don't want to speak to
because
like
they react more strongly.
right,
it.
and like I don't want to speak to like the technological savvy of these streamers, but a lot of them like have their Discord like pretty like with very little like privacy or like they have very little boundaries of people like getting into their Discord. So they hop on the Discord, they jump on her voice channel as she's streaming, and they just like start like, I love you, will you be my girlfriend? And they start like, you know, saying,
You know what somebody
Yikes.
needs to do? Somebody needs to make a movie about like, you know how you hear that all the time, like they shout these things to women. It's like, or like guys catcalling women. I want there to be a movie made about the one time where the girl actually turns around and is like, yes. It actually works. Like guys catcall women every day. Guys on streams, oh, I love you. Will you be my girl? And the girl's like, yes.
It's
please.
like a dog chasing a car.
Yes. She's like, yes, please give me your phone number and your address, and I will come over and we will seal our relationship.
Dude, I
We
gotta
will
say,
consummate.
I saw, so I looked up a bunch of them because I just wanted to see examples of them. And I gotta say, the people that dealt with a hate rate like that by like humoring them, it ended in like a minute. Every single time.
I mean, like if you don't get overwhelmed and angry, which is what they want, then they'll stop.
Right.
It's not that hard.
And that principle holds true for like most negativity on the internet anyways. Like I get people who say negative things to me on Instagram. I just don't respond, and eventually, well, they come back like once a video and say something mean. But if you engage, then you're going to have a thread of 15 comments going back and forth with this person. And you're giving them exactly what they want.
Well, the games and online harassment hotline, which I wish was a real thing that you could call into, but it's not. With
Anita Sarkeesian picks up.
Anita Sarkeesian's feminist frequency
She just sends you the
parent
PayPal.
organization.
Yes.
They say that you're allowed to react to hate raids in any way that feels right to you. It's okay to stop streaming, to keep streaming, to talk about it, to not talk about it, to feel angry, to feel numb, to feel scared,
Do you have
to
to
feel
pay
anything at all.
Did
And
anyone need this
remember,
direction?
Online harassment is not your fault.
Do you have to pay for this kind of advice? Like it's
This
literally
is
like,
like
you can do whatever you want.
Baby level therapy.
Yes.
I mean, because a lot of times it's like baby level responses from these people. Like I
Do
gotta
people rage?
These people.
Oh yeah.
Do streamers like rage about?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
raids?
Like I saw a
You're
lot of
literally letting them win if you do that.
Yeah.
I saw a lot of them like literally burst into tears. The one that I was like, it's
Oh
kind
my
of
gosh,
rough.
if you're that sensitive to getting criticism online, you should not be like trying to have this like influencer
Yeah.
status or a huge audience.
Well-
It's like setting yourself up for failure and humiliation.
Like
As I said, there's like levels. So like a lot of them, what happens is like they jump on a Discord as they're streaming and they start saying the N-word, and they get like immediately like taken down. And if it's like, let's say it's part of your like
Is
financial,
the streamer banned?
I mean, I'm
for
sure.
that?
I mean, I'm sure there's been some cases where they have been, and they have to go through an appeals process. And I'm sure that like once the fan base is like, "Oh, this is what actually happened," they apologize profusely and like you bring them back immediately. But like, if this is like your livelihood, like I'm sure you
Yeah.
get like pretty freaked out.
Yep.
You know how I feel? I think streaming on Twitch shouldn't be your livelihood.
why not?
How brave and bold of you.
Why not?
'Cause, I mean, I'm not familiar with Twitch or its culture, but for the most part, it just seems like mindless drones in the chat being like poggers, and then like women licking prosthetic ears.
Yeah.
Like I don't have a high opinion of Twitch or Twitch streamers.
How about this? You can be
Or
you
viewers.
just no licking ears and no ASMR videos, and keep the hot tub videos to a minimum.
I mean, it's a spectrum, right?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
that's why you can't really you can't categorize it one or the other.
My thing is that I see this and I see it happening, and all I can think of is the solutions will lead to more problems.
Well, the solutions that they offered were like okay. They said like you should set up your stream so that you can like instantly, if you get a hate raid, lock down your chat, shut off your alerts for like new followers and stuff, and alert your moderators at the
Yeah.
same time. And also, I think they advised streamers to like, if they don't want their reaction to be on screen, to like go to a safe screen that doesn't show them for a
Safe screen.
second.
It's like a safe space.
Yeah, it's literally a safe space. Like, if you don't feel safe streaming in your own home, just turn off the stream, please.
I mean,
Like, those are okay solutions, but it's solutions offered to people who don't have the emotional bandwidth to be on the internet in the first place. Like, I'm always shocked that the internet has become so soft when, like, only 10-ish years ago, it was very much, like, it was closer to that Wild West era than it is now.
But this is what I mean. This is precisely what I mean. So, like, I feel that hate streams are a reaction from edgy boys and girls on the internet, like, just being, like, so sick of the woke pandering, right? And so they keep giving him, like, promotion, and they keep giving him this, like, absolutely cringe commercials in every stream, and they keep giving them features, and like, every mechanism or layer of defense that you add, I think they'll retort in kind, because ultimately what I feel like this, like, hive mind wants is, like, in some way, like, an equality of service from the platform. Is like, let us all just, and maybe I'm trying to rationalize, like,
should hate raids be allowed?
I mean, what's a hate raid, you know? Because if I'm streaming, for example, like, people here in chat, like, some people are nice and some people troll me. And, like, if I was streaming on Twitch, and let's say, like, Brett is also streaming, he sends me a raid, they know or do not know me, and they're like, hey, neckbeard, or whatever. Like, I am the kind of person where I would either make fun of them or make fun of myself. You know? And, like, a lot of people, as I'm saying, like, they win them over.
Yeah. The easiest way is to just a little bit of
Always.
self-deprecation goes a long way.
That's always
learning to laugh at yourself.
Yeah.
Never hurts.
And also just, like, being a more grounded person, which the average Twitch streamer, I don't believe, is capable of.
I mean, absolutely.
People just need to
just
have thicker skin. I'm sorry.
Or
we need to make this online harassment hotline a real thing, and I'm on the other end. We were talking about this earlier.
I gave Mary
some
examples of what I felt Mary would say, and let's just say it wasn't kind to the
We
people
can't repeat on stream.
I could not repeat any of that for fear of the ban hammer. It would come down hard and swift on us if I was to say what I think Mary would actually say to these people.
It's what they need to hear.
But it would include the wambulance and some French cries and except for it would be a lot more vulgar and it'd be like if people started super chatting us really, really mean things. Like I don't.
And
doubt that.
were text to speech.
Yeah, exactly.
I just think that, so they're having a meeting at Twitch, like, they all get their Soylent, they gulp on it, and then they're like, so how do we solve this? And then it's like, more hugs and puppies, but, like, I think there's some point internally that they understand that the hugs and puppies is what leads to this.
Yeah.
That it's just, like, resentment from their audience of, like, please stop pandering. Please, we beg you. Like, we need a space anywhere where it's not just a 24/7 Panderfest.
What do you think the age demographic is? The people that do it the most frequently, the hate raids.
I mean, if it's bots, it has to be, I feel like, 25 and up, because they have to have, like, the technical knowledge of how to set that up.
I don't know. I think there's some, like, tech savvy edgelords out there who would go through the trouble.
Yep.
If I had to guess, it would be like 16 to like 23.
That's what I was thinking. Younger.
Definitely not 25.
And also far less.
25 and up, they have, like, lives to tend to.
Some of them. Like,
I'm just thinking of, like,
not.
and the younger generation is going to be far less worried about the social implications of the stuff. Yeah, like, my generation would be too scared of being mean to someone, the younger, the more vicious, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I mean, we get critical things in, like, our live chat or our comments or on our social media accounts, and I mean, like God knows in the IRL chat, it's
The
just
IRL
almost all insulting.
I sometimes I watch IRL chats for the IRL. Like I don't, I like mute the show and just read the
Yeah.
chat and like follow the conversation in terms of like, oh my God.
It's similar
incredible.
to like the gnashing of teeth in
Yes,
hell.
it's like hearing like I can only hear about Ian's
Oh my God,
yeah,
poor
Ian's
guy.
genitals so many times,
Like-
or vulgar comments about Mary so many times. that-
Everyone on the internet gets that type of
Yeah.
feedback,
Yep.
and you just gotta like learn to cope. Like, stop being a baby. I don't know how to say it other than that.
or figure out a way to avoid it. If you know it bothers you, be an adult.
The
and find
best
a
way to
it.
avoid getting hate online is to not be extremely online.
Exactly. Yep.
Bad Adam 12 said, check out Amanda Lynn as Batgirl.
The real question is Bad Adam 12 bad app in disguise? That's what I want to know.
Maybe.
The world
Is
should
this his new tactic?
Yes.
By the way, I gotta tell you guys, when I started working here, I tried the incredibly futile task of moderating IRL chat.
Oh man,
You did?
that is like that sounds like
Wait,
the world's
who does moderate that chat?
I mean, like
Anyone?
a plethora of people have tried.
Yeah,
is what I'll say.
You can't do that.
It's, I mean,
My favorite part is also the people who say like random people dying. Like it's like R.I.P.
Oh, yeah.
Magic Johnson every night, and they're like Magic Johnson died, and then I'm like, no, he didn't. Oh, damn it! And then the next night, Magic Johnson, damn it!
it's that and the Professor X character.
Yeah.
They're always dying.
The chat is like, I used to avoid it. Like if I'm on, I don't ever look at the chat. But if other people are on, I can indulge in reading the chat, and then like feeling kind of like I need a shower afterwards.
I think one time when I was watching, it was like R.I.P. Kobe, before the whole Kobe Bryant stuff happened, and
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, and I checked, and then when it actually happened, I was like, yeah, right. And then I was on Twitter, and everyone was like, Kobe, you'll never know how your dunk changed my life. And I was like, oh wow, this time's for real.
Kobe's still like, there's still so much like one of the most common things I see on Instagram reels is like Kobe. It's like speeches Kobe Bryant's given or
Oh, yeah.
interviews given. The dude was a freaking the most professional person you've ever met. Like as far as his work ethic, had more work ethic than like I have in my pinky. Like he had more work ethic in his pinky than I have in my whole body.
I love the Kanye West Kobe like Nike commercials.
Yep.
Do you ever see those? It was
Yep.
like,
Yep.
but Kobe, how many more albums can I sell? I'm a number one seller. More albums.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hobbit said, PCC voice to text when?
I don't know.
Never.
Maybe never. I
That-
can't even trust you guys to
Absolutely
send
never.
chats that I
Bad-
can read
bad-
myself.
Bad app is like, let's go. Voice
Yeah.
to text.
It's like, have you met the guy? Like, no.
He invents it.
I mean, he would be like manually banned from
Oh, yeah.
doing voice to text super chats. I'm
Preemptively.
sorry to say.
we would have to. We're sorry. We just don't want to get in trouble.
Jonathan Harris said, I would hate to see their reactions to Modern Warfare 2 Xbox lobbies.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
You had to. It's from a different era, my friend. It's
Dude,
from
I
A
keep-
better one. An
Yeah.
objectively better one. I'm sorry.
a better time to be alive.
Modern Warfare 2 and Gears of War's like live chats, it was just 12-year-olds. It's like, I'm gonna kill you. Like, it was like nonstop.
Yeah.
And like say the most atrocious things, and then their mom, you gotta do homework. Like, it was incredible.
In the background, yeah. Like, shut up, mom.
A generation's
I don't
doomed.
want any hot pockets.
Basically.
Hobbit said, streaming can be a job, but I don't think it's healthy from a mental and social side. In my opinion, the potential negatives outweigh the positives.
I mean, even for what we do here, doing a live show every day, it's a little bit like that, but not quite the same. But like, there's a lot of like, I was trying to explain to somebody. I was like, you have to like be on like when you're doing the show, right? Like you
Yeah.
can't. Who you are on air is not quite the same as who you are off air. It's still your personality, but you still have to find a way to make it engaging and be it's like a heightened version of what you would be like off air. And then obviously you have to learn the constraints of like operating in the environment, like as far as rules for polite speech, stuff like that. It's not easy.
Believe it or not, the way we talk on the show is similar, but not the same way we talk
If
not on the show.
yes, it's you look for recording devices for the way you talk off the show, just to be safe.
Wayward Soul said, anecdotal example, I heard of Mike David from Red Bar Radio because of crybaby comedians complaining about him. Now his show's one of my faves. Scars Club.
That's I'm trying to think of like things that I found because of other people complaining about them, but I don't really think most of the stuff that I find pretty organically. So,
well, Andrew Schultz.
Andrew, that his stuff
example.
was.
He's so annoying.
No, I love Andrew Schultz.
Oh,
I didn't think his set was that good.
It's his marketing is on point, but
his marketing is
He's
pretty
good at promoting himself.
Absolutely.
For sure.
Yep.
I just think his persona is so like typical.
He looks like a guy who would tell you
You
great
want to start
jokes
this war?
outside of a
I mean,
bodega.
he'd win. Like he's like a rich Giga Chad.
Yep.
I'm just a pauper Giga Chad. You know.
Bad App has one. Do we read that one?
No, I'm not reading it.
Not reading that one. Sorry, Bad App.
Oats
Love you, buddy.
Red Swoon said, like, I get it that it can bother you if you get harassed day after day, but still, internet, anonymous people gonna be terrible. You gotta expect it. Learn to brush it off.
To me, the more annoying one is death threats because it's just like that. That's
Well,
like,
what does that even mean?
what is that
anymore?
exactly? What does that even mean? Like, I have no idea.
If it's not like specific or actionable, law enforcement can't do anything about it, and neither can anyone else.
Yep.
So just shut up about it.
I mean, we've had a hard enough time here with like
Everyone's gotten those. Have you?
Yeah.
Like everyone who's used the internet has gotten a death threat. It doesn't mean anything necessarily.
Dude, try to make fun of Lydia one day on Twitter and her army of sips. Like, me and Lydia, literally our entire friendship has been from beginning to end insulting each other, like, but dearly, right? And like,
Sure.
I mean, and then like her, oh my god, her army just like starts like, Trump derangement syndrome, and like Lydia has to be like, guys, stop.
Says, like, anytime somebody says something negative to me, and then if somebody responds, I'm like, leave it alone. Don't engage. You don't need to do that.
I
don't
engage.
need-
I love it.
I don't need
I
your
mean, I don't
help.
care.
I don't need your help.
I love it. I usually like turn them around with a little bit of my Latinx spiciness, and they're like, "Hey, you know what? You're pretty."
You charm them. And they're
I,
like,
I do.
Wait a minute, Dane.
One asked me for a job at the end of it. He was like, "Can I work for you?"
That's what it's all about, really. Is
Honestly, yeah.
jealousy.
Yep.
Waffle Sensei said the IRL chat is literally just one big hate raid. I have admitted a portion of my life to these chat rooms specifically for this reason.
I
LOL.
actually took some screenshots last night because they did this thing last night where they were talking about like they were fantasy booking like a movie, whatever they were talking about a woman's power fantasy in a superhero movie.
Oh, yeah,
And there was a chat in there that says, "What am I watching? Is this Pop Culture Crisis?" And I was like, yeah, that's right. And then the next one said, "Bring back Ghost Girl." And then under that, like somebody talked about Ocean's 8 didn't make any money, and I almost took the time to like get in there and dissuade them of this notion that the crappy Ocean's 8 movie didn't make money, because it did. It did profit. $297 million an all-female Ocean's movie made on a budget of $70 million.
Jamie was surprised to hear that.
Yep.
Gold Macro said, "Oh man, Gears chats telling little punks I was gonna wine and dine their moms at a fancy place. Classic."
Classic.
I'm telling you, it was legendary.
Johnny Peebles said, "Some people need to learn to laugh and move on. I feel that we've traded self-worth for narcissism. Internet people don't matter as much as real life."
Does
No kidding.
Can somebody explain that to me? Traded self-worth for narcissism, meaning like
Because
self-worth would
narcissism
be
is all about endlessly
outward.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
okay.
about like trying to control the way other people perceive you rather than
Yeah.
being grounded in yourself.
Yep. All right. We are going to move on, guys. We're going to talk about this. This article is when Mary came in today. I was having
You were having an absolute aneurysm about this.
It was like I was reading it. And I kept waiting for like the part where I actually could figure out what was wrong, and I couldn't find it. And then it got more and more nuts, and my face just kind of melted.
Dude,
So
Mary, sorry to interrupt, but like Mary came up. I was like, "Hey, Mary, hey, Dane," and she was like immediately talking about this article.
It's insane. It's
what did I say something about it? I guess I was talking about it without realizing.
Okay, well, we're going to talk about it. Station 19 writer's room incident involved written racial slur sparks inclusive workplace discussion, leadership structure changes. So
I
if you
think
don't-
it's so much funnier that this took place over Zoom.
Yes.
Purely over Zoom.
So
Like,
basically,
just no communication whatsoever.
If you guys don't know what Station 19 is, it's a spin-off of Grey's Anatomy. If that's because nobody in this chat or
If you like
watching this
Grey's
show,
Anatomy, it seems you really like Grey's Anatomy, and if
Season
you
19.
don't, you don't care at all.
So basically what happened is, in fact, I'm just going to read it because it was reading it that did it to me. So, okay, so we'll go down to the part that says, more than a year later after the incident involving, they talk about George Floyd. They had some really powerful episode right after George Floyd came out. So I want you to make note. This is their weapon of choice.
A powerful
episode.
social commentary episode.
They want to live in this arena where their job is to speak truth to power, even though they work for billion-dollar companies. And they want to talk about social messaging and all this stuff. So if that's your weapon of choice, that's the arena you're in, fine. Let's get into it. More than a year after the incident involving the depiction of racism on the page has left the writing team of Grey's Anatomy spinoff reeling. According to sources, it has to do with a writer's recent draft of an outline for an upcoming Season 6 episode that included numerous uses of a racial slur by a racist character. I hear that the script was assigned to a white writer. So that's what they make sure to point that out, that's the most important part of this, that the writer who was writing this racist character was white. And the word in question was, I'm not going to say the word.
It starts with a B.
It starts with a B. It says a derogatory reference to a person from Latino descent. The outline was met with shock and disbelief when shared with the writer's room, and tensions grew to a point where the virtual room had to be put on pause. Sources said Vernoff on Monday sent an email to the staff, a copy of which was obtained by Deadline, in which she spoke of recent harm and systemic issues that would be addressed in a Zoom meeting on Tuesday. It was to be attended by Jones, that was the person who wrote an organizational psychologist. You know who's making more money off diversity, equity, inclusion than anyone? Consultants
They're
and psychologists.
A psychology consultant group specializing in fostering diversity and inclusion in work environments and leadership.
I'm going to let you in on a little secret. Nobody who works in the field that was just described is there to include or make anything better. Their job is to make your life miserable and make you feel disassociated and disconnected from literally everybody you work with.
Doing your entire job in a writer's room virtually wasn't enough to make that happen.
Exactly.
And where I am speculating this tension came from actually wasn't shock and disbelief that he wrote it, but people waiting for the next reaction from their coworkers before they could give their response to the script outline. They had to understand socially whether other people found it to be acceptable.
Yep.
So, like, if you're in the Zoom call and people just start conversing about his outline as if it's no big deal, then likely all of these people would fold and act like it's fine. Because he wrote it in a tone that depicts that character in a negative light.
So you're not even allowed to write bad characters as bad characters anymore. It's kind of like the Papa John's thing, like with him.
With Papa John, he said the N-word on a call with other board members for Papa John's, and
in
referring
the
to it in the context of
yeah.
like, we wouldn't want to say this,
Right.
Yeah.
and then he was, just publicly lambasted for that, even though it took no nuance into account.
Yep.
But I don't even think that the writer's room necessarily reacted that same way.
Yeah.
They reacted with fear about their own reputations.
Yes. The outline was met with shock and disbelief when shared with the writer's room, and tensions grew to a point where the virtual room had to be put on pause, sources said. I cannot understand what they're supposed to do. The whole point of a writer's room is to bounce ideas back and forth and have it feel creatively free.
And you should be able to have your ideas shut down in a writer's room with perfect comfortability. That didn't happen.
There was a bunch of discussion about, like, some people saying there shouldn't have been dialogue in an outline anyways. That's not true. Some people use heavy dialogue in their outlines. Other people don't. That depends on the person writing it.
Well, then say that the problem was dialogue in his outline, not the word.
Exactly.
You know what? It's a real shame that we keep getting stories like these, because I saw Hispanic at that moment. We can't get stories like these because clearly, like, the world seems to be in the mental health crisis, and I'm not saying that to be funny. Like, it's so evident by day-to-day interactions with people that like people seem to be like really struggling with some things, and the industry that should really, you know, be at it in its best behavior right now and be like completely like trying to at their top form, they're not. I feel like it behooves them for people to continue having worse and worse like mental health issues. And it's just like every day there's a new one. Every day like it raises more and more, as if to like, you know, like, guess you need the service more. It's like, apparently we don't, because, you know, how has any like mental health professionals, like, they don't even seem to be like putting the curve down at all.
We will not proceed with business as usual until the recent harm and systemic issues have been addressed and healing has begun. I want to know what what does that look like? What does healing look like? Because somebody wrote a bad character saying bad things to show just how bad the bad character was. What the hell needs to be healed from that? It's a writer's room. Their job is to be there to creatively output different dialogue and scenes together, and then people come together to figure out the best way to do so. How could anybody feel creatively free in that environment?
This is also them not wanting to decide how they want to do social commentary.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
Because they did this very impactful and important cultural commentary after George Floyd's death.
Yeah.
And they considered that acceptable.
Yeah.
But when the wrong person makes the wrong step in that direction, then you have to shut it down.
It
like either it's all acceptable and on the table for writing, or it's not.
And for the writers, it's like being terrified of heights and having to choose skydiving as a career. Why would you write in this space? Why would you? If I was a straight white male writer, I would never, ever, ever, ever engage in this realm, because you will lose.
This also,
every time.
I think them being on Zoom has a lot to do
with
why this happened.
That was the next question.
Because you're not receiving people's reactions to what you wrote in real time with all of their facial expressions in person. And I feel like there's also a sense where on Zoom you're still not in private, whereas in a physical room together, then the privacy would allow people to give more honest feedback and feel freer to give, you know.
I don't think there's a single industry where a person that has these proclivities is suited for.
Yeah.
Like, truly. Like, you have to be like...
the consultant industry.
We need assurances down with the consultant class.
I mean to be, like, effective as a professional. Yeah. Like, truly. Because, like, unless you're, like, a completely independent, like, subscriber-based mommy vlogger that's, like, drinking wine and saying yes queen 24/7 to your like band of merry idiots, like, I truly don't see, like, you can't write, like, you can't take feedback, right? That's so crucial to pretty much 60% of like 21st century jobs.
It's also network TV, so likely the word would have been edited in some way where like he said it and then they cut the shot so they wouldn't have heard it. I don't know if that word would have been allowed on network TV.
I think it would have been.
So
it's a rather dated term anyways.
And I was rewatching American Gangster the other night, and there's this scene at the end where a character uses a very offensive term for a Jewish person, but it's to show you how bad this dude is. Like, this character's a piece of crap, and it shows in his language and the way he treats other people. But the scene, like, the guy in question doesn't have a lot of screen time, so they kind of have to show you something very, very shocking to get it across that this is not a guy that you want to root for, right, towards the end.
I suppose.
So like, if they weren't able to do that now, if that movie came out now and they had to cut that scene, would it have been as impactful? No, I don't think it would have.
You know what? I feel like I just had an epiphany right now.
Okay. What is it?
Like, perhaps the reason why every single movie and show that we get is a remake is because, like, the condition of the current writing rooms.
Well, yeah, writing rooms are awful right now.
Right, and they can't ever come to a consensus of, like, what they want to write, because they just have all these invisible rules about all these, like, audiences that they have to pander and cater to.
So
And like, if you do something for, let's say, LGBT, then you're not doing something for the African American community, then you're not doing something for natives, then you're not doing something for Hispanics, and they're all they just keep fighting and fighting for clout.
yep.
And at some point, you know, the purpose of what their objective was, like, gets lost. It's like, well, let's do Batman for the trillionth time.
Yeah. Yep.
Well, doing this virtually and with too many people involved at once is a recipe for disaster.
Maybe back in the day, a large writer's room where people can all spitball ideas works when there was creative freedom.
And
people
actual privacy, because as much as it can seem like you have privacy on a digital platform, you know that you don't,
Yeah.
and anyone could be recording the entire thing.
Exactly. Like I think about that now. Like people are on guard because they know that they could be recorded at any time.
And you just don't have the same chemistry that you would.
Yep. It does not
physically
translate
in the same room.
Like one of the things that I noticed is like I watched a couple of compilations back in the day of like people who did like virtual interviews and then seeing that same person interviewed in person, and almost always their dynamic and their ability to convey what they believe or feel more ingratiating as an interviewee always comes across better when they're face to face with that person.
Yeah, on a virtual interview, someone has to force themselves to look at the webcam so that it appears to the other person like they're making eye contact. That's so unintuitive.
Also-
and take that to the writer's room. How are you going to effectively communicate the creative ideas you have?
Also, audio delay is one of the worst parts of like any type of like
horrible.
whenever like you see like
Oh,
people
yeah.
do their interviews like we're live with so and so, like, hi Bob, like
They do that on Pierce Morgan Uncensored.
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Piers Morgan.
Like, it's hard enough, like, sometimes, like, even in the show, like, we're all, like, good friends and, like, we're respectful of each other, and you don't want to step on anyone's point. So, like, imagine, like, a Zoom call of these, like, narcissistic psychopaths that all just want to have their, like, clap moment.
Yep. So somebody says, I was reading some of the comments, and it was really funny because I feel bad for the poor uninitiated people in the comments section who don't realize how bad Hollywood is. And they're like, I don't get it. So it says, what exactly happened? Was it a character saying it or a real person saying it? Very confused. If they're censoring what a racist would say, isn't that not in character? Oh, to be a fly on that psychology group session. Please someone document that. There are harmful words to every group, but pretend that they don't exist. That ignorance doesn't exist is also harmful. So it's like these poor people just don't know how bad Hollywood has gotten. So they're kind of maybe it's like a culture shock. Like they don't realize that they've gone off the
They're
deep
like
end.
yelling into the void.
Yeah. So how are writers supposed to portray bigoted characters without using the actual language? How about no one gets to use any pejorative language, including those who happen to be part of the ethnic group in the slur? We'll just have to invent new language in place of the word. So in place of the Mexican pejorative term, because it's not for all people of Spanish-speaking descent, we'll use the word fluffy cloud.
But even by that logic, like, how do you convey a villain with those rules? So, like, would you imagine the Joker being like, haha, Batman, my pronouns are they, them, and this, like, what do you mean?
Is this because the writer was white?
Well, absolutely. Yeah, because if you're trying to do social commentary on race relations of any kind and you're white, then you need to sit down and be quiet and let the marginalized groups talk.
You can't have an opinion.
Yeah.
Yep. It's this story is one of those ones, like there was the other one about there was another, I don't remember the name of the person there, like who was like on a show last year who was brought in to write for or like to give stories about what he had experienced at like the 92 race riots, and talked about how a racist cop had called him the N-word, and he said the N-word in the meeting and got fired for
crazy.
saying a story about what actually happened to him. That's insane.
They just can't hear the sound.
Yeah.
That's insane.
So it's just like, this is one of those stories where, okay, so this was the other one. It says, whether it's racism, ageism, unwanted sexual attention in the workplace, etc., if one person is made to feel uncomfortable, or even if a third person is afraid of that a second person was uncomfortable.
That's exactly what I was referring to. All of them were waiting for the next person's reaction.
And
it wasn't that they were all in shock.
And you know this dude was never going to get any backup. No, their career. Everyone's like, nah, I'm not risking my career for this dude. No way.
I would like to see the gender breakdown in this meeting as well.
Oh, yeah.
If it was a bunch of women.
Wham. Yeah, it would have been.
Dude, I gotta tell you. So I used to. I'm not gonna say the name of the company, but like I used to work for like a pretty like corpo company, And rarely, but occasionally, sometimes I like try to speak up every time there was like some kind of this nonsense. And dude, like the backlash would be immediate and extreme. And you can see on people's faces that like some people were like, oh man, like he's really gonna eat it after that one. And like I'm sure like in like a less like politicized world, like some people would have said anything, but like yeah, that's what people are thinking. They're just like trying to protect their livelihood.
Yeah. Every single person there saw their life flat. It's like when Lauren Southern was on, the guy says the N-word in the video, when he's just all he's doing is repeating song lyrics, and you literally see
like he's about to lose his life.
Your life is over because people are mentally ill and they don't understand how to handle social situations at all. And we have done this to ourselves. We have made our relations through intersectionality, the pushing of the progressive agenda. We have made it worse for ourselves, and we are and we're suffering because of it.
Well, I don't even know if it's political as much as it's just like we were never supposed to have internet access.
No,
and like more. We weren't supposed to know that this many people even existed, let alone that this many people could hate you.
Yep, that's the like. Me and Mary differ on our opinions of the importance of the printing press, but I definitely agree that
we wouldn't have gotten to the internet without it. That's for sure.
But to me, sometimes one of the most important things I think is the internet was definitely a mistake.
But think about the dank memes.
The memes, though.
Yep.
Tis worth.
Someone said Mary was born during the last crisis of the writers' strike. Did that occur in 2000?
There was a writer's strike in 2007
I
as well.
remember that being in the late 2000s.
Yeah, there was a writer's strike in 2007. That's the reason the second Transformers movie is so bad. Well, I love it, but other people hate it. Is because it was made during a writer's strike. There's whole shows were canceled because they were going on during that writer's strike. Yeah.
They got precipitously worse.
The writing? Well, there's also just too much to be made now, and there's just not enough good writers to go around.
The Transformers movies, I mean.
I love the first three.
I like the first one. The second one was like less. The
second one's awful, but I still love it, and the third one is objectively fine. The rest of them...
Objectively fine.
The rest of them I can take it or leave it.
Gonna put that on my resume.
It's got Patrick Dempsey in it. How bad could it be?
Let's get to Super Chats.
Let's do it.
Jonathan Harris said, have a crisis party, my guys.
Well, thank you.
Thanks for that. Ravioli, the sheriff shot my doggioli. Sent us $1 with no message. Thank you.
Maybe the name was the message.
F.
Obviously.
F's in chat for the doggy, please.
Bad app.
Should I even say that? I don't know. I don't want to say that.
I don't know.
Sorry, bad app.
Classic
Hobbit
bad
said,
app.
these are the people streaming. Can't handle life.
Yep.
Yeah. Darko's one.
You can
said,
skip the word. I don't know if
as a Mexican, blank is my favorite word to use to describe myself. If someone tried to use it to be racist to me, I'd laugh. My favorite joke is I may be a blank, but I'm not the only Juan. That's funny.
Let's go.
See, it's like they want to speak for everyone.
And we're going to talk about that when we get into my follow-up segments in Podluck about Eminem and my band.
Yeah.
And yes,
Oh my God, dude.
it's incredible.
Yeah.
Jonathan Harris said, was there outrage for Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus dialogue? I just played it last night, and it had a bunch of hard N-words in the opening dialogue.
It is funny how they pick and choose where to enforce the... it's like a powder keg. Like it could go off at any time in any situation, but you never know where it's going to be enforced and where it won't.
Yeah.
These type of things.
Isn't there a director that's like notorious for having the N-word in his movies?
I mean, Samuel...
Tarantino?
Does he?
Tarantino
No.
does that a lot,
No,
doesn't
he says F word in it. Like,
Nah, bro. He has both.
I thought it was just like straight up racial slurs. I don't know. I haven't seen enough of them to know.
And then Nero Garcia.
Oh, and Nathan Costs. Okay. Nero Garcia said, if more people were punched in the face, we'd have a Moon and Mars colony by now.
Okay.
I'm not sure how you made that association.
I don't know. Like, when we punch them to the moon?
He's not wrong.
I mean, more so if people were just like raised properly.
We could do with one of the funniest debates that I still people here have lately, and it's less political than a lot of the other ones, is like, should you spank your kids?
It's still rather political. I think divides across political lines. Still.
Yeah. I mean, maybe, but it just feels like such a I don't know, like my I don't know if we talk about these situations, like, well, for in my family, but
Let's save it for behind the paywall.
yeah, we'll put that one behind the paywall.
I have some takes on that.
Everyone does.
Yeah.
Nathan Koss said, "We live in the time of anti-definitions. If we define the terms and words we aren't allowed to use, we can't shift the goalposts at a moment's notice. It's not about knowing what to fight against, it's about wielding the mob."
The thing about like her in this article, when the producer of the show gave their speech about everything, when they talk about things like I'll get right back into it. When she talks about things like healing and all the dialogue, all buzzwords.
That's women. I'm sorry. That is women controlling speech, controlling communication, because that's what they want.
And
they're out of control and they want to take it back.
Yeah. And it's all buzzwords, and you can't even have a rational discussion about whatever you're talking about because you have to decode what the hell they mean to begin with.
That's like the pathological levels of altruism and misguided empathy that women have being weaponized.
It's like when they were talking about
in the workplace.
Ocean's 8 last night, and like one big thing that came up in Ocean's 8 and the 355 is like what's fair for salaries for these people. Men don't care about what's fair for salaries. They want to make they're going to negotiate their highest contract that they can. They're not going to worry about what their co-star's making because it's not their business. The women are the ones that care about whether they're making the fair amount of money.
And it's weird because
I don't even believe they
men
do.
are the more competitive
Yeah.
of the sexes.
Yes.
It's kind of getting reversed.
Yep. All right, let's move on. Let's go Podluck. And you want to start with this one? You had a lot to say about Melanie here, so let's go ahead.
And I also just want to use this as an opportunity to applaud the early 2000s.
We love you, early 2000s.
We miss you.
Mary misses heroin chic. She does.
Well, that was more in the 90s.
Yes.
But the 2000s was just like still, derivative of that. Anyways, Melanie Linsky says she was body shamed on the set of Coyote Ugly. I was already starving myself.
I want to point out that Coyote Ugly is one of my favorite movies of all time.
I wonder why.
Throw all the shade you want. I love that
Does
movie.
it have something to do with Jennifer Garner?
You mean Piper Perabo, not Jennifer Garner. Piper Perabo. Movie's incredible.
That name sounds fake. Piper
Perabo. She was in Covert Affairs.
So she told The Hollywood Reporter all the girls had this regimen they had to go on. It was ridiculous. I was already starving myself and as thin as I could possibly be for this body, and I was still a size 4. That was already people putting a lot of Spanx on me in wardrobe fittings and being very disappointed when they saw me. The costume designer being like, nobody told me there would be girls like you.
That feels fake. I'm sorry.
No way.
I mean, I don't know how these people talk on set. Really intense feedback about my physicality, my body, people doing my makeup and being like, I'm just going to help you out by giving you a bit more of a jawline and stuff.
What's wrong with that? Like,
that's literally what makeup is for,
the whole
regardless
point
of your weight.
It's a visual industry, and the people behind the scenes' job is to make you look the most appealing for whatever the role may be in front of a camera. It's like when we covered that thing about the actress who was like in Troy, and she's like, I had to go and look at the producers in my costume, and I had to spin around, and I felt like a piece of meat. I'm like, he's literally going to pay you millions of dollars to be in front of a camera. He's seeing how the hell you're going to look
That's what you're
in front of a
signing up
camera.
for, essentially. Just the feedback was constantly, you're not beautiful, you're not beautiful. In your early 20s, so much of it is about beauty and how people respond to you. And do people want to F you? I mean, I don't know. I feel like that's projection a little bit.
Yeah.
And you mentioned that also she was casted to be sort of a plain Jane character in comparison to her co-stars. So
the whole point is that Piper Perabo is this small town girl who's beautiful and wants to go to the city. She doesn't even want to be a singer. She wants to be a songwriter, which is actually the most interesting part of the movie. And
I can't believe you know the plot.
He's so invested.
I could tell you this movie word for like literally.
Please do.
I could literally do it word for word. Okay, but the point is, the friend is very much like you said. She's homely.
Like, for a movie in Hollywood, she's supposed to be homely. But
Yes.
she's obviously still
Size
pretty and a normal size.
I don't know what size 4 is, but size 4 sounds normal to me.
I mean, it's 2 away from 0.
Okay.
So, you know, she wasn't overweight at the time. I
Wait,
understand.
a 4 is 2 away from 0?
Yeah, because it goes 0 to 2 to 4.
Oh,
It's
okay.
even.
Okay.
I just learned that too. Don't
Learned
worry
that
about
too.
it.
I was like, huh? Math.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, you know, she was relatively thin at the time, and I understand why she'd be frustrated that people on set didn't think that was good enough.
They also like totally. This is sneaky and manipulative journalism. Is they don't use a modern picture of her.
Well, they use a picture of her from
From that
back
time
when
period.
the movie was being shot and promoted, but yeah, now she is kind of overweight. Yeah. But she's speaking about it in retrospect at like age 44 about how she was treated in her early 20s, and she feels like now she's casted a lot more fairly. And I don't know if you can attribute that to like just the times changing or what. But like, if anything, I think at least back then we had more standards, whereas now people feel like they deserve to be celebrated based on their appearance, but also not have their appearance attributed to their successes at all.
Yeah.
It's like this weird paradox.
They want to have their cake and eat it.
And eat it too, and eat it too,
She
and
wants-
more,
yeah,
and
she-
more,
yeah.
and more cake.
Oh man, I didn't even mean to do that. But like, yeah, like they want it to not matter, but also be celebrated for the fact that I'm representing this group of this
Yeah.
body type. It is a weird. Yeah, I feel bad for saying that she wants to have her cake and eat it too, but
Well, it was unintentional, okay?
it's unintentional.
But she said today, I had a lot of beliefs when I started about what I was supposed to look like. It feels very nice to be in a body that I'm comfortable in, to be aging, and have people want to cast me. So
They don't want to cast you for any more altruistic reasons. They're doing it because
Yeah.
it's in right now. It's almost worse.
yeah, I can't imagine how she doesn't see that.
She doesn't.
That it's still pandering. It's just pandering to a different audience than it was before. So it's still using you as like a moneymaker.
Coyote
Doesn't
Ugly
actually-
had Bridget Monahan in it, who is still like acting very, very regularly. She's been on Blue Bloods for like 9,000 seasons, and she was John Wick's dead wife in the first movie. She still looks very, very good, even though she's I think she's getting close to her 50s right now. So you know, it is almost worse that like they're not doing it because they're any more inclusive. They're doing it because inclusivity is just fashionable right now.
Yeah, it's like they're still making young actresses insecure. In fact, more than anything now, it's the young teenaged ones who are being aged up
Yeah.
in public appearances than ones in their early 20s getting aged down.
Yep.
That's even worse, in my opinion.
So she says, I had a lot of beliefs when I started out about what I was supposed to look like, she told the magazine. It feels very nice. So to me, do you think that's like, is that a product of everyone just talking to her and telling her this stuff? Like, I imagine that a person who is doing her wardrobe and putting her in something says something like that in passing and probably meant nothing by it. The part about saying, I didn't know I was going to have to be dressing girls like you, that look like you, I don't think that they meant that in a negative fashion, like most of the time.
But to her at the time, it might have
would've-
been of astronomical importance.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, but like, you just need to realize you're not being casted for your personality.
Yep.
That would make no sense. That would mean you're getting casted to be yourself.
In a visual
You're
industry.
supposed to be somebody else.
In a visual industry. And she perfectly
That's a
pulled
great
off like a homely looking best friend who was definitely not moving to the big city to become a star. Like,
And
Dude, I love how
homely
much of the plot
only
you
by
know.
the most Hollywood standards, which is still gorgeous.
yes, still very attractive, but
So
just not
get
Piper
over
Parable
yourself,
attractive.
basically.
I want a Brett Dasovic book club about Coyote Ugly.
Oh, let's go.
He's like chapter 1. the character's intentions. She wanted to be a star.
She did. She wanted to be a star. There's also some great old school iMac product placement in here with the bubble computer with like the different colors.
I love
it's
it.
freaking great.
They should bring that back.
They should.
Just put nothing in the bubble.
It's like it still weighs nothing. It's
Yeah.
just, the old one was heavy. This one weighs nothing, but it lights up.
I love it.
Oh my god! It's. They also make it look like creating your own music's like really easy. That's it's like her learning how to actually produce music is basically like a 2-second montage. I'm like, I don't think it actually happens that quickly, but okay. I love that movie. Also has a random Tyra Banks appearance.
Yeah, I saw that. You showed me the clip.
Who doesn't
earlier.
love Tyra Banks?
I kind of want to watch it now.
Let's go. That we review that.
You convinced me.
All right, let's laugh at She-Hulk. She-Hulk.
I don't so much laugh at it as much as I just want to gag. Like
They're standing with the visual effects artists on this, right?
in
Like,
solidarity with the workers.
as long as they get their work done
yeah.
on time and under
Crunch time.
budget and under budget. I feel okay. So it says the She-Hulk attorney at law team is defending criticism about the visual effects, about the visual effects work with Tatiana Maslany amid a recent wave of visual effects artists speaking up about alleged poor working conditions for work that involve working for Marvel. So basically, it's like Marvel always wants like 3 or 4 options for every scene for what it would look like. They ask for stuff up until the last minute. It's like crunch time for video games, but apparently worse. To work for Marvel. And since Marvel is such a big studio now, they basically have a monopoly. Like, if you're a visual effects house, you probably have to work with Marvel in some fashion. And then plus other people kind of fall into that habit of like, it would be prestigious to work for Marvel. So they all get underbid.
They're getting paid in exposure.
This looks
Oh,
bad to the
God.
point.
That's what it is.
I can't believe you even had to say that out loud. Like, I'm having flashbacks to when I started after film
Exactly.
school. And yes,
Yeah.
It's across different
it's
industries.
great exposure.
Yeah.
But these effects look bad to the point where I'm like, I think makeup would have been better.
It literally would have just put her in some green makeup.
Jessica Gao, who is head writer on the series, added, "It's terrible that a lot of artists feel rushed and feel that the workload is too massive. I mean, I think everybody on this panel stands in solidarity with all the workers and are very pro-good working conditions. We are pro not making you work
We're
for free."
pro not sweatshops.
Yes.
Like, okay, good for you.
She
I
never
guess.
buys a bag from one of those stands in New York City, in Times Square. She never buys a fake bag.
The visual effects, especially on her face,
The mouth.
are so disturbing. Every time I look at the trailer,
Yeah.
or just any stills of it, you can't manipulate it in any fashion that makes it look acceptable to go on the big screen. Like,
Yeah.
it's actually like ugly Sonic level of unacceptable. Like, just fix it. Just fix the freaking movie.
Not even a
Before you
movie,
release it,
TV
please.
TV show. So less
Or
budget.
the TV show.
But that's what I'm thinking. So I think literally the standard right now for entertainment is so low that Marvel is like, listen, we got these nerds by the you know what's. Like we don't even have to go the extra mile.
Nope, they
But
don't.
in
And
that
it's
case,
really
just use
showing.
makeup. Just don't even bother with the visual effects artists.
Didn't anybody
Honestly.
see the original Hulk TV show? Show was freaking awesome.
Well, now they have Mark Ruffalo.
Well,
They
that's I mean, that's downgrade in anything.
Soy
Like,
Hulk.
Anything with Mark Ruffalo is a huge downgrade. But the original Hulk TV show is freaking hilarious and awesome. They should do that again. So they addressed criticism of how She-Hulk looked on the series. I do think that has to do with our culture's belief in their ownership of women's bodies.
What?
Bro.
I'm sorry, what?
Like can any criticism be objective without it being like you just hate me because
Ownership
I'm
of her
X?
She-Hulk body.
Yes. Okay, I'm going to read that again. So, she said, is it Cairo, addressed the criticism of how She-Hulk looked on the series. I quote, "I do think that has to do with our culture's belief in their ownership of women's bodies," she said. "Well, I would love you to take some ownership of your own agency and inability to deliver a good-looking show." She said, "There's a lot of talk about her body type. It's a She-Hulk it's literally one of the most important aspects of the character, you nutcase. We based her on a lot of Olympian athletes, not bodybuilders, but I think we've gone I think we'd gone far the other way. We would have been facing the same critique. I think it's very hard to win when we make women's bodies. They would have the same criticism of any Hulk character. They criticized Thanos, the color of Thanos being different in every time he would be in a Marvel movie. There was criticism of all the CGI in Marvel for any character. If anything, I want to know why it's expected that all the male characters have to have 8-pack abs. And they never, and then they're constantly told that they're pieces of meat in these articles. And then the next article from the same website talks about how you cannot abuse women by talking positively about what they look like in their femininity.
Listen, I just want to say, if you're an Olympic athlete that was based to do She-Hulk, you need to seek immediate medical attention.
Yeah.
Like, you are not well.
Yep.
I mean, maybe they just mean they exaggerated what's naturally possible.
I do think that we have to. It's our culture. Do you really think that this has to do with our culture's belief in the ownership of?
No,
women's
it's lazy.
bodies?
They're just covering for lazy work.
It's like
It's such a weird way to phrase it.
yeah.
It's very Handmaid's Tale. Like, please.
Everything in Hollywood feels like it's written by a PR person who went to like a liberal arts school and has a degree in gender studies
And
as well.
it's not even the musculature that's the only
No, it's
criticism. Her face is uncanny valley.
Yep.
Like, extremely so. I can't even watch her talk in the trailer.
Yep. So it's absolutely ridiculous. I want to finish on a fun note, though. I want to finish
Okay,
on a
let's
fun
go.
note. So yesterday, we talked about two things. We talked about Britney Spears giving it to the Catholic Church by complaining that they wouldn't let her get married.
Slams Catholic Church.
Slams a Catholic church for not letting her get married at this. It was a beautiful church, and so she complained about that. And then we had another one about people were mad that Eminem did the video My Band with D12, in which he what they call appropriated Mexican culture. And we have follow-ups.
content,
We have
y'all.
follow-up content today. Don't say that we don't follow these stories. These very, very important.
Don't say we lack journalistic integrity.
We follow these
We
very.
will die on that hill.
we follow these very important stories through to the end, ladies and gentlemen. So the Catholic Church says that she never asked them to get married there, apparently. So,
But if she had, they would have still said no.
She bashed an LA Catholic church, claiming that they wouldn't allow her to get married
It's
there.
an LA Catholic church. Of course they would let her.
If you missed it, Brittany went on Instagram, and now a rep for the church tells us that they checked their records. I'm picturing the checks notes.
The singular old woman who is in charge of their records made sure to double check.
Phyllis in the office checked the records, and Helen from another department relayed this message and says they checked the records, which show Brittany never personally visited the church or asked to have her wedding there. To be fair, maybe it was a rep for Britney Spears that asked, and it's filed under the rep's name, and Phyllis from accounting in the office
She got all confused.
got confused and didn't realize that it was actually the rep's name, not Britney Spears' name originally.
Well, here's the thing. Even if she had gone through the proper avenue and asked the church about this, they would have said no, because neither she nor Sam Asghari are confirmed Catholics.
Yep.
Therefore, their marriage cannot be officiated by a Catholic priest.
Yep. So it's she would have been out of luck anyways. It's a problem.
So just try to find a pretty church that's not a Catholic church.
Dane, would you have gotten married in that church?
With Britney?
Yes.
To
Sure.
Brittany?
I mean, for the culture.
And you have to, like I said, and like I wanted her to hire a wedding photographer that only uses like a Galaxy S6 to shoot the photos, and they're all really dirt. Like he purposely smears the lens with his fingerprint, makes it dirty, so all the pictures.
It's just
come out
her
bad.
aesthetic.
It's her aesthetic. It's the Britney aesthetic. All right, we got one more, and that's the follow-up says, to no one's surprise, at least not to any surprise for me, it says Hispanic people are saying they're not offended by Eminem's My Band music video. So we have an update. It says they've taken to social media. Remember when I talked about Speedy Gonzalez and how they originally canceled Speedy Gonzalez, and then they came out and forced to say, you better not cancel Speedy Gonzalez. They're like, you better not remove that My Band video from YouTube, because we'll be pissed. So it says the 18-year-old clip is resurfaced after people say the legendary rapper was guilty of cultural appropriation. The song with D12, which was released back in 2004 and featured a section right at the end that has now been dubbed inappropriate by the modern lens. Eminem is seen in a matador outfit while D12 are dressed like they're in a mariachi band. Dane, does this interest you?
Does it offend you?
Does it offend you?
No, but so here's the thing. Like, first of all, like, are they making the correlation that all like salsa related, like issues are all of
all
the
sombreros.
Yes.
yeah, they're
Not all sombreros.
are under the strict purview of the Latinxes?
Yes.
Like, what is the and also so he says like my salsa in like a particularly jovial and
Yes.
hilarious way.
Yes, he does.
How is it like what is the thing? Is like you cannot joke about something if you
No.
do not belong to the
You can't-
group.
you can't do
You
it.
cannot be jovial. I want to say effervescent just to annoy Mary.
It doesn't annoy me.
And, like you can't like say anything about like people don't have ownership over words. I'm sorry.
So it says, so this is a response from Juan. It says, what about the black on Asian crimes the media seems to be hush-hush about? It's not like any race is innocent, but don't get all victimized just because he proved his point. By the way, we didn't just accept the reality of the situation. We got conquered. That's how the cookie crumbles. Also, by the way, in Latino culture, we tend to find over-exaggerating funny, like Eminem using obvious stereotypes that make no sense, plus random. Also, how do you pronounce that word?
Tapatio?
Tapatio guy is literally a white Mexican.
By the way, that's a great point. Like a lot of like Hispanic entertainment, at least like when I used to watch like local channels in Puerto Rico every blue moon, like they're like loud, like obnoxious and over the top. Like it's honestly kind of like a reference to the culture in some way. Like you can't watch any like Hispanic reality show without them being like "Señoras y señores," like about anything.
He says, I'm Latino and genuinely didn't know Eminem did this. And to be honest, I don't care that he did because it's Eminem. I'm not looking for him for what's morally right. I'm looking to him to make me laugh and vibe. That's like getting mad at Dave Chappelle for making a joke. Oh, wait, they already did that.
That's a good point.
And then the next one says, as a Hispanic from a prominently Mexican-American community, Eminem doing the My Salsa bit is absolutely hilarious and in no way is appropriation, but homage to the or satire. Dig harder. Hashtag My Salsa.
Honestly,
That's the thing. Like, no cultural appropriation accusation is agreed upon by all members of any group. So where does that leave us?
And to be fair, now like even this article does that going the opposite way, saying Hispanic people are saying they're not offended by Eminem's like that's kind of like saying they're speaking for all people as well. Both sides need to realize that neither side speaks for all members of one
Eminem
group.
should just like do what he wants.
Yes, of course, he always should. That's
as
the
he's
point.
always done.
and also like the biggest like theme I think in this criticism always is that the only acceptable culture is like snooty white liberal pervasive culture.
Yep.
Like if you are not constantly in like a snooty white liberal tone, like it is absolutely unacceptable. Well, newsflash, I'm not.
Yeah.
You know, I am a spicy Latinx.
Yes, you are.
So like I will continue to be so. I will continue to speak loudly wherever the F I think I want to be. And I like that about me. And I like that, I like that about my partner. I like that about my family. I like that literally about us. I like bringing energy to the room.
It's what we love about you.
I bet.
It is.
It's fun.
Because this criticism is so rooted in like clinging to some politeness, like
Yep.
this value of waspy politeness, and more so forcing it on everybody.
I don't know about now, but I know that even as recently as a few years ago, like right before COVID, when Weird Al would perform the song "I'm Fat," he would still wear the fat suit, which
That's
is
not
like
okay anymore.
That's freaking incredible because it's Weird Al. He's literally parody. He should be allowed to do that, but in today's world, like you can't do that.
Sad.
Thank you.
But, like,
Thank you.
Oh, you tell me like
Oh my God, we're like one. It's like literally there.
you
Send
telling me
one more cent, guys.
we're like you can't even appropriate like fat culture. There's not a fat culture, dude. Like
You could say America is fat culture.
basically.
Okay, when I was in Spain, they were shocked that I was not fat. Like they
I
were-
mean, that's almost just insulting.
it was like
your
2000,
nationality,
and that was like
though.
2010. Like they were like, they just assumed all Americans were fat slobs. Like
I mean, a lot of us are. That's for sure.
it's definitely not out of the realm of.
I know I am.
Yeah.
Dude.
You are not. Also, I am, according to the chat, I too am a spicy Latinx. I've seen it in the chat before.
I mean,
Proven.
you're definitely honorary.
Confirmed.
I've got my Latinx pass.
I also, by the way, like, I just want to make it official. I officially give Lydia Latinx pass.
Perfect.
Thank you.
She is perfectly spicy. Like, if you follow her on Twitter, it's going absolute A-S.
Oh yeah, way spicier than I would ever.
Yeah.
Do. That's for sure.
Yeah, I'm worried about her.
But I don't have an army of simps to back me
I'm
up.
Worried,
so.
I worry that she's gonna lose her
Platform.
social media accounts.
Well, she was banned on
goes off.
Instagram recently for like a month. For like 2
Instagram
weeks.
is ruthless. Like
Yeah.
once you're gone, you're gone.
She was banned for like 2 weeks. She's like, I got it back, and immediately said something spicy.
Based.
Like that's
Just no regard
No
for
regard.
the consequences.
That's why
We
she
love it.
earns the spicy Latinx pass.
Is this a third one?
Loisibos! No.
Second?
Yeah.
Guys, I'm just
Thank
stuck
you.
on the
Thank you,
second
guys.
one. Like,
Thank you,
last
guys.
time, I was on the precipice of, like, the third one.
You didn't get to the
I
third?
could have sworn this was the third one.
Second one.
No,
Second one.
I'm losing my mind.
Mary struggles to count to 3. Like,
One.
Well, I'm like, I pay so little attention to the crisis parties
we have to. We got.
while we're
we got work to do.
talking that I forget.
I was trying to explain to someone like one of the hardest things about. Thank you.
Thanks,
guys. That's actually a
guys.
perfect example. Like one of the hardest things about the show is like trying to sound coherent and make good points when you're also like doing all this other stuff at once. And it's like I don't make it look easy. Like Tim and them make it look easy. Like I actually make it look.
I think you do.
Like it's hard to like do all this and try to sound like you know what you're talking about. And that's like a thing. And that's like a thing, like trying to get better with that over time. It gets a little bit easier the more you do it, but it's definitely not as easy as I think it might look.
Let's get to super
Let's
chats,
do it.
shall we? F off said, I agree with Mary. You shouldn't be able to make a living off of Twitch, just like YouTubers shouldn't make a living either.
rude.
The
Shouldn't.
rude free market wins, my friends.
Should or shouldn't, irrelevant now,
Yep.
because they do,
Yep.
I guess. Waffle Sensei said, Brett, Coyote Ugly is good. No shade. You are based.
It is extremely based to love the movie Coyote Ugly. You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Leanne
Bobcat
Rhymes.
said, wait, Brett was watching Coyote Ugly for the plot and not the hot chicks dancing on the bar? Why?
You can do, believe it or not, I know women are better multitaskers, but when it comes to hot women on bars and plot, I can do both at once.
That's a shirt.
Yes.
Is it F off next?
Now
I've lost my place.
Yep. F off. Says so stunning and brave.
What were we talking about then?
That was when we were talking about the fat shaming article. Same Coyote Ugly about the actress.
Oh.
Yep.
F off said, so stunning and brave. Another middle-aged woman complaining about not being hot. What a surprise. Stunning and brave, slay queen.
Jordan Peterson would have much to say about that.
Yeah, not hot.
I mean, she's not just complaining about not being hot anymore, but she's complaining that her appearance would be considered in a casting decision, which is insane because your entire marketability is about
Physical, visual.
Yeah,
Yep.
visual. Hobbit said Marvel and EA need to team up at this rate.
Just
Please
one big
no.
crunch
Please
time.
God.
Just like the rate of like insanity in this
That'd
country
be a
just
day that
skyrockets.
lives in infamy.
It would.
Charlie Red said, looks shouldn't be a thing. Love me for my personality. Only pretty people say that nonsense. Like rich people saying money doesn't
matter.
mean everything.
Yep. There's a great meme. It says looks don't matter. Beautiful people, money doesn't matter. Rich people, sloth, 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 and it's like a thirsty dog, and it's just the sound of a dog, of a dog drinking water.
I love that.
F off said, She-Hulk looks like the old school Furbies that would scream demonic phrases.
The real question is, when are we going to get like a remake of Gremlins?
Dude, that movie ruled.
Yeah.
Well, they ripped
Oh, wait,
off
I'm thinking about a troll
the
movie.
Gremlins
Yoda.
with
Baby
Baby Yoda, so they kind of stole their thunder. Matt said, 1 Thessalonians 5 is a good one.
I don't know what that is.
Me neither.
I'm Catholic. I don't read the Bible. I'm kidding. He said, so is 2 Thessalonians 3
What is that? I don't know.
in the Bible.
Yeah, I know, but what is
Like the epistles
Okay.
to different people. Yeah.
Okay.
What else?
Somebody
do we have
named
here?
Dave Font says, I want a crisis party.
I just want a party.
A crisis party.
And that I did.
And you got one.
Bad app. I am not reading that.
He would something to Britney Spears.
Classic. Classic bad
Yeah, he wants to be Eskimo Bros with Justin Timberlake.
Bruh. you editorialized that. F off said, people are trying to get him in trouble over my band, but not about ending and struggle snuggling Lindsay blank blank.
Lindsay Lohan.
Lohan.
Yep.
Waffle Sensei said, sure, the Latinx culture is not offended, but you're not taking into account the white liberal culture who speaks for all Latinx people.
They literally do.
Thank
That's
you,
like,
overlords, once again.
I am here to be upset and offended on your behalf, they say.
Thank you.
They come to the rescue.
Yes.
F off said, Viva la Raza. Bad app said, Dane is cute AF in his Tommy Hilfiger shirt.
I remember once when I was very young, my mom bought me a Tommy Hilfiger shirt, and I was very bummed because I didn't know, I was so young, I didn't know that Tommy Hilfiger was like in, and my brother had to find me like a rap song that had Tommy Hilfiger lyrics in it to show me that I was cool. It's like one of the only cool big brother moments from my childhood that I remember that clearly. My brother making me feel comfortable about my Tommy Hilfiger polo.
Is that that's like the first kind thing I've ever heard Bad App say.
It's very nice of him.
Incredible. Thank you, dude.
Caper2X sent $1 with no message.
Thank
you. Sealin said another crisis party.
We got
Thanks
it.
for that. Corey Bolig sent $1 as well.
Thank
no
you.
message. Jonathan Harris said, white savior complex. I believe this should be offensive, so you should be offended.
Also, it's partially like them like covering for themselves. Like a lot of time, like it's not like we don't hear people that are not white saying stuff like this. They do, but they're still part of that same liberal culture in Hollywood. Like they're still part of that same machine.
I think it's about like leveraging your power to manipulate
Absolutely.
headlines. Waffle Sensei said, Dane, can I have a Latinx pass? Also, did you ever finish Elden Ring?
Yes, you may. You may have a Latinx pass under the condition that you admit that pancakes or French toast are superior to waffles.
Yep. Wait, what? French toast? Oh yeah, I'm already.
He
French
must
toast?
admit that either French toast or waffles, preferably both, are better. Sorry, French toast and pancakes are better than waffles.
French toast all the way.
No. It goes French toast, then waffles, then pancakes.
No, it's
obviously.
French toast, pancakes, and then
obviously.
waffles.
Tim.
No.
Thanks, babe. And no, I
we
haven't
had
finished
French
Elden
Not
Ring.
toast.
base.
We had French toast.
You are not base.
We had French toast in New York this past.
deep fried French toast.
Yes, it was good.
Yeah.
Yes.
F off said, we learned Mary can't count earlier. Her jeans go up in sizes of 2.
Us guys being, it's like when people say like when they put their weights on the.
Do guys' sizes go up in ones?
I'm 36.
31. I buy 31s.
Are those inches?
31?
No, 30.
Of
I
the
31
waist?
30. 31 29.
I'm 31, 36, all muscle.
What?
Yeah, we go.
What are you
31s.
guys talking about?
You can buy individual sizes.
Huh.
Yeah.
I guess that's just fast fashion. Okay,
Ow!
What do you mean?
Is that a bad thing?
No, like-
you're not wearing couture.
I just realized like women's sizes are less specific so that they can fit more people.
Yeah.
Caper
Hannah Claire would
2X
love to talk about this, I'm sure.
Caper2X said, and Brett, make mine Marvel. Love you, Dave. A Bible for Mary.
Oh, well,
Where's my
thank
Bible then?
you.
Jonathan Harris said, Thessalonians were letters from Paul to the Thessalonians. Yeah.
They them?
To
Perhaps.
they them. Hulls and the Kid said hostage crisis. Let's go.
Let's go.
Bobcat said pancakes and French toast are better than waffles if you cook them in the grease from frying your bacon. This
Listen.
is not. We were actually debating this too. You can't soak them in grease. Like, that doesn't work. They need to be fluffy.
There is no condition in which waffles are better than French toast. I'm gonna give so waffles. Okay, just for the record, waffles are not bad.
They're
Waffles are still like a 9. You know, they're good. You should have them. But I believe that you should.
Mary's face is like, I don't know about that.
The ratio that you should have these like sugary breakfast is like, you should always go for French toast. Always. Unless you know that it's a pancakes joint and you're drunk at 3 a.m. in the morning and it slaps.
3 a.m.
Did I stutter?
Okay.
Okay.
We should go to Waffle House after this
Why not IHOP?
because there's a Waffle House.
See, this is the problem. Like, waffles are objectively better than pancakes because they hold the syrup.
I don't like that though. I dip. I don't pour it on top.
What, in a pancake,
Hopeless.
it
Next
becomes
Super Chat,
one
we're-
with the... No, excuse me. The pancake becomes one with the syrup and absorbs the flavor. And its texture evolves.
It's like a sponge. It's like a dish sponge.
Listen, you're a sponge, and I'm sick of you.
Okay.
Ow!
We need to take this outside.
We will.
We'll film that afterwards. We'll live stream that on our phones.
Oats Red Swoon said, I'm a pancake supremacist. Stop.
Don't
This is
do it.
blasphemy. Matt said, women's sizes vary by store. Old Navy specifically.
I have not been into an Old Navy since jeans had hammer holes on the side when you get carpenter jeans.
What?
Remember carpenter jeans?
Hammer holds?
For the yeah,
That's exactly what it sounds like.
yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like. Waffle Sensei has one more.
We do not kneel. Waffles are better. I will take my Latinx pass through sheer conquest if I have to. This means war.
This is like the 7th war I am with Waffle Sensei.
You guys go back and forth. Who wins? You, Waffles?
Obviously,
This
he's
is a
a
tumultuous
Waffles
relationship.
fan.
It is. It's very. There will be a
It's
movie
a
made
roller
about.
coaster of
I am
emotions here.
empowered by fluffy pancakes.
If I was more of a liberal, I'd call it toxic.
It's a toxic,
toxic relationship.
Toxic.
between us and our super chatters.
Waffle Sensei, not us. Hey, me and you get along very well with our super chatters. Dane and Waffle Sensei, they have been known to have their arguments. That is for sure.
I'm okay
So,
with it.
Dane, before we go, do you want to say anything special to Waffle Sensei before you give your credits?
First off, I gotta
Any
like.
apologies?
No, I will not apologize for the
Okay.
truth.
Okay.
Sorry, like French toast. Does anyone combat that French toast are the best
No.
of the three?
No, that's
Okay,
that's
well,
true.
We have a basis for truth. Then, like, if
Objective reality
not
is a thing.
obvious.
It's
For
not
real.
obvious.
And to answer like Waffle Sensei's like previous super chat, I have not finished Elden Ring, but I think I'll try to get to it this Saturday.
Thank you.
I also want to know if you had to pick the three, like which ones do you think Jordan Peterson is a pancakes guy? Do you think Jordan Peterson is a?
It's absolutely a French toast.
Absolutely,
guy.
he's Canadian.
Oh yeah, well he's got to have maple syrup.
I mean, like French Canadian.
Yeah,
You know,
Yeah.
French toast.
maple
All right.
syrup. It's a
Also
match made in
some
heaven.
powdered sugar on there.
Maybe if we could have him on.
Halls and the kid said pancakes are gross. I won't
Oh.
even go so far as to say that.
No, they're all good.
They're all good,
Yep.
but
Yeah.
pancakes are on the bottom.
Oh,
Whatever.
we'll have to do this as a bonus episode one day. We'll just talk about it for an hour. All
They
right.
call it eggy bread in England. No, they don't.
What's
I'm
eggy bread?
getting angry.
They actually and they spell humor with a U, so that's like who cares?
I honestly don't know whether to believe them. Jonathan Harris said, "From my point of view, the pancakes are evil."
What is this?
What is happening? Okay, bad app. I'm not reading that. Someone else said I call it freedom toast.
You're too young to know that this happened, but back when after 9/11, we changed the name of our French fries to freedom fries because
Really?
Was that as a response to 9/11?
I don't remember if it was a response to 9/11, but it was around that time. You know, it was that we had everything was pro America. One of the best things about rewatching The Wire is you realize because that was like just after 9/11, like how many American flags are in every window. Like there was so much pro America sentiment at that time that weirdly bled into the show, which allowed there to be like racial conversations and very serious discussions about police brutality that still felt cloaked in a certain amount of love and respect for the country, understanding that they were individual issues, not a commentary on necessarily the nation as a whole. So,
F off. I'm not reading that.
Did he do another one?
and
It's just like, why are we talking about this?
they're gonna keep
Oh my
keep
God.
going. They're gonna keep going. So Dane, let everyone know where they can find you.
You can find me at Dane Fawn on Twitter. I
Eating
usually do
pancakes.
it quick.
Can
I
you
feel
do
so
a
disappointed
second
with
try?
At Dane Fawn on Twitter.
Okay, thanks.
Perfect. He'll be eating French toast at Dane Font on Twitter. Mary, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram or WeChat at Closer Kitty, and whenever I post articles on timcast.com, I promote them there. And you
there's
can
one-
also find me on IRL at 8 p.m. Eastern Time tonight.
And there's
my God.
2 more.
Waffle Sensei said, "I freaking love you guys." Heart emoji. That's sweet. I'm not reading that bad up. And Matt said, "Yeah, it was because France wouldn't back the war."
So yeah, freedom. You know,
It still sounds made up, but
freedom fries. I remember that. I still remember that.
I'm always so close to the third one.
Yeah.
Always
are
so
we close to a third one already?
We're not.
Moderately?
We're not. We're it's not their job. We'll get there tomorrow.
No, I'm just saying, like, mentally.
Yeah. Well,
You could have fooled me.
next time, Dane, you'll have to be even more animated than you already are to really put on.
You
a
gotta
show.
unbutton another button
Yeah.
for
That's
them
to-
to
remember
to
that for
shill out
Monday.
the cash.
We were having an issue with the temperature, so I couldn't.
All right, guys. Thank you so much for watching today. It has been a blast. You can follow me on Instagram at Brett Dasovic. Before we go, please like the video, like the stream. Leave comments on it. It means the world to us. It helps with the algorithm. And remember, the show is Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is at noon Pacific. There's one more super chat. I will read that one. Johnny Peebles says, "I was 5 years old when 9/11 happened, and I remember freedom fries. Nothing beats the taste of freedom." Amen, my friend. Freedom fries. We need to make some here. I remember after on like the 4th of July this year, a bunch of people bought a bunch of like Budweiser because like it was just labeled freedom. Like all the beer said freedom on it, so everyone was buying
Smart marketing.
it.
there.
Yes. Caper2X says, "It happened, Mary." See,
I don't know if I believe you.
I am not Mandela.
I feel like I'm going crazy.
What happened?
The freedom
Freedom
fries. That was a real
fries?
thing.
Oh, yeah,
What?
absolutely.
What
Yeah,
does that,
that
mean?
was the thing.
What does that mean?
It means that your fries are free,
Yeah.
Mary.
It's
Okay.
You got a
because
problem with
France
that?
wouldn't back the war, so we weren't going to call them French fries anymore. Guys, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, you can talk about freedom fries with us and the cultural importance of that in pop culture. 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, noon Pacific. If you want to listen rather than watch, we are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, Spotify, and then on social media, Twitter at @popculture_show, Facebook and TikTok at Pop Culture Crisis, and on Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. We'll be back with another episode tomorrow. We'll see you then, guys. Bye.
Bye.